Hello, good morning, Annette Azan. Welcome to our Business Spotlight interview series. My name is Nana Ajakum. I'm going to be your host today, and we appreciate you for joining.
Thank you, Nana. Really happy to be here.
Right. So before we do start off, by getting to the questions, what we'd like to do is we'd just like you to use a few minutes to introduce yourself to the public. First of all, who you are, your company, how long you started, and a brief description of what you do.
Okay. My name is Annette Azan. I'm the CEO and founder of Nuudii System. Nuudii System is a brand of boobwear for women who hate bras but don't want to go braless. It is based on principles that basically key into the bra industry, but we're not a bra. So we're really creating a brand new market, which is super exciting. Seeing that the intimates market is huge. I actually come from the fashion industry, so I'm not new to this business, though I created Nuudii back in 2011 out of my own need to wear a wedding dress. So, one of those really good founder stories. I'm on the business. I have been working in the business side of fashion, not design, but I did design the first Nuudii for my own needs. And back then, I knew that this was really something that was completely different and that women would be eager for.
This is exciting. So tell me, how long have you been in the business? When did you start it? And you gave us a reason for starting it, but if you could talk to us
Yeah.
about your journey.
Yes, it's been a journey. So, not being a designer, when I made the first Nuudii out of a fabric never used for the top half of the body, so it was really innovative. And I hand sewed the first prototype, um, put it on my body, and went like, "Wow, okay, this is very different feeling, a very different experience, and this is really freeing." So after my wedding, I went back and I actually created two more prototypes that I knew that was missing in the market. So I had three prototypes to start, and I try to get my local sewers, because again, I didn't sew, tried to make these prototypes, and they couldn't get it. The hand sewing was very specific. So I put those three prototypes actually in my safe. And I kept trying to find somebody who could help me make those prototypes real. And so I had an initial partner with me who came out of a very deep experience in the intimates industry. And she said, I see a lot of product, like people bring me product all the time. Either it has no relevance or it's already been done. She said, this is really different and I'm going to partner with you. So she helped me take those three prototypes. We got them patented. So we're now a holder of 4 patents. And then we started on the journey to find ways to manufacture it. It has never been done before. So that development process took 4 years. This is really different in every way because the intimates industry is not really focused on innovation. They're usually just iterating off of like what they know. They're like sidestepping. I like to use the quote that, the electric light was not made from, the reinvention of candles. So it's like you can, sidestep or you can start afresh. And so we started afresh. It took 5 years. We were so anxious to actually launch the product. Once we found out how to manufacture it, we went to Kickstarter because Kickstarter, their audience is they're first adopters. They're looking for the newest thing. And so we wanted to really go in front of them and see, like, how big can this really be? It's just in our head. So we went to Kickstarter and had an amazing, amazing campaign. We did almost $1 million within a few months. And we went global immediately. So we were shipping to over 40 countries straight off the bat. And that's how we started the company. And that was in 2019. So that was like a journey. And then in 2020, pretty much simultaneously with COVID, which actually was to our advantage, we opened our first e-commerce site. And from then it's been up all the way.
How
That's the short
many,
version.
that's a short version of it. I'd love to hear the long
Yeah.
version of it. But tell me, how many employees you have. But before you do go there, did you start the business on your own? And
I
then
started
who?
the
Yeah.
originally I started the business because I'm the creator of Nuudii. So, I had my prototypes, then I had a partner. She's not an active partner now. Um, though she holds still part of the company. So I'm the managing partner and CEO. We have 6 employees, full time with the company, and 2 of them happen to be my daughters.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can consider us a family business.
From the business. That's awesome. Talk to me about your challenges, right? We all know that a lot of people out there have ideas, that they want to start. First of all, they don't know how to start, and if they do start it,
Yeah.
they face a lot of challenges that make them crumble. How did you tell me about your challenges and how you overcame those challenges as you started up your business and started growing that business?
How long do you have? There's a lot of challenges
we,
along
we
the
have we
way.
have about
Um,
15, 20 minutes or so let's go.
okay. So I would say the first challenge with when we were in the development stage, because the challenges change as you grow, which was finding manufacturer that would take us seriously. We like that took a year just to find somebody who believed, because again, it had never been done, and that would take us seriously. I mean, so we were doing a lot of traveling. We couldn't find anybody here in the US that would take us seriously. So we went to Colombia, and started to do development with a factory there. And then once we got to a certain stage, they didn't want to sign an NDA. So we ended up coming back to the US because our lawyers said, you can't be doing business over there without like some protection. So a little bit of luck, we went back to one of the same factories. So that was the first challenge, is like finding somebody that can help you as a partner if you're in an innovation sector. Second challenge, always money. It's always money, right? So I started by using some of my money. From the onstart, I've been kind of raising with high net worth individuals. But I was also at the beginning, pretty early on, pitching some very large VCs. Some names that people would know: Irving Capital, Catterton Partners, etc. Even before we had done our Kickstarter, we had only prototypes and had really built out like a brand image, and of course a deck. And it was interesting. They took our meetings, surprisingly, even though we had not $1 of a sale. They were quite interested in us, but of course they didn't invest in us because we didn't really meet their criteria. So spent a lot of time, just, I thought, wasteful time in spending, pitching instead of just focusing on building the business. So I'd say raising money, I'd say, getting factories to partner. And then since we've launched, it's been, so many challenges. It's like, so COVID came, that was great for us because people were in front of their screens. They were at home. Women wanted to be comfortable. They were ditching all of their workwear. They certainly they were ditching their bras. So that was a great year for us. Challenge during COVID, great year for us. Then our factory has to close down like the rest of the world. So we ran out of inventory. So that was that challenge. And then the second year, as things were kind of getting back up to speed, then the iOS 14 came along, and Apple allowed their users to block being tracked. So for advertising, and as a new company, advertising is how we find our new customers. That was thwarted. It's like, oh, now we can't track to find our customers. So suddenly our ads were going from like $9, and to the highest, it was like $100 to find a new customer. So that was another challenge. So, there are always challenges because things are always changing, and there are always challenges depending on where you are in the stage of your company's growth. So
Interesting. So tell
I can
me,
go on, but those are the big ones.
those are the big ones, and I just want to dive into some of those big ones. How you overcame those challenges. Tell me how you
Yeah.
overcame your financial capital challenges, and
Yeah.
also your other challenges in terms of growth and scaling your business.
Yeah. So, as a consumer, I'll talk about the finances first. As a consumer company, it's really hard because, so many VCs and PE companies just don't want to look at anything in consumer. They're like, consumer is like the, fifth cousin. Everybody wants tech. You're in a great space with your company, but like nobody wants to put money behind. So I really decided to just like keep going with like individuals, and I can pitch like nobody can pitch because I've been pitching for the last 9 years, like,
Yeah.
everybody I talk to. But what has helped me to raise money, and I've been raising on convertible note all these, we have not actually done an equity round yet, all these years, is that the fire burning for the company, the vision of the company, and what I know it can be has never dimmed in me. And so I talk to everybody that I meet ever. I'll tell you a funny story. So I wasn't married at the time and I was dating. 5 of those men that I went on one date are investors because they saw the excitement around my company. Then they would say, let me see your deck. And they would say, can I invest? So I've actually raised $1.6 million, one person at a time. Then 2 years ago, I went to WeFunder, which is another crowdfunding platform, but it's crowdfunding for equity. And we raised $330,000 there. I was part of an accelerator who is a venture-based group, XRC. They're consumer-based. They're here in New York City. They also have backed me. I was in their accelerator, and I'm back on WeFunder, actually raising right now my second campaign. So that's how I just kind of went around. Okay, so we didn't get any big rounds with VC or PE, but there are other ways to raise money. And I found them. You just got to keep going. I like to say there's no one way to grow your business or to get financing. I also used, I tapped into inventory funding. There's a lot of different ways to get funding these days for a small business. It's expensive. I'll have to say, I'm trying to get out of that. This year, we're out. We do not have any more inventory funding because it is really expensive. And we did make as a CPA, you'd appreciate it. We made a profit last year. So excited about that.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're going to be profitable even much more this year.
So this is great. So if you had to start from square one in your business, what would you do differently? Now that you're about 9 years into it.
Like I said before, focus on getting your product finished if you're in development out there, and getting sales, like getting traction, and not focusing as much on raising money. When we started, it was a very different world, like 9 years ago, where the success of your business, first of all, there was a lot of money like for startup, and that's changed. But the success of your business was based on how much you raised. That was very much the energy then. Now that's changed. Like it's about, are you profitable?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have traction? What's your, year-over-year growth? So I'm kind of glad that I learned that early on and could pivot, because a lot of companies didn't, and they really got in trouble. Like they did take VC money. And then when the VC said, just grow, 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 don't worry about profits. And then they needed more money and the money wasn't there. They've had to have fire sales. There've been a lot of fire sales in my sector in this past couple of years.
Yeah. So when you went in front of investors and they said, show me your pitch deck, what were in 10 seconds or less, in your mind, what you're going to say that was going to get them sold, that was going to make you so different from your competitors, like bringing something onto the market that nobody has thought about? Like, what did you say to them?
So first of all, most of my investors were men. So they can understand that Nuudii is for women who hate bras, but don't want to go braless. This is a gray space that has existed, but has been untapped, that through our patented product, we will own. I mean, we own that space now. Nobody's doing it. And for the male investors, I would say, if you think about the leggings market, okay, leggings, they fit like pants, but they're not pants. The leggings market is huge. At the beginning, when leggings came out in the 70s, it was only very thin women in the gym that would wear them because women were not comfortable, like, wearing things that were tight, showing their
Yeah.
hips and their thighs and things. But if you
Yeah.
fast forward to today, the legging market is not going away, and every woman in every age and every size is now wearing it. That's what Nuudii is. Nuudii is
Okay.
that in between, and it can be worn in your life for different things, and it's not going to be going away. So it's a huge sector.
Wow. That's great. So tell me how you actually got your team together, what you were looking for,
Mhm.
right? Because you know that you can't do this by yourself for a long time,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
how did you start actually assembling your team? What were you looking for in your potential, employees, right?
Mhm.
Candidates,
Mhm.
and how has that worked out for you now?
So my initial team, so I had an initial partner, and her daughter was actually a designer who worked with us initially. So at the very beginning, before Kickstarter, it was just the three of us. We kept it very close, especially because the industry is a knockoff industry. And as we were developing, we didn't want anybody from the outside to be involved. So then when we actually went out to e-commerce, I had the opportunity of being able to hire people that were furloughed from their jobs, like many people were during
Mm,
COVID. And so I was able to hire some seasoned people who had, whether it was social media, customer service. I hired a great new designer at that point. So I tapped into some people that really had great experience. As I also mentioned, my two daughters work for me. I mean, they've been on the journey from the beginning. So there's nobody that knows this company, like the family members, right? And also they're the demographic. So I have one of my daughters is a social media manager, and the other is a marketing manager. And so they've been very involved. And then I got wonderful people who also came straight out of like Fashion Institute, who have, came in knowledgeable, but has also grown and has taken on operations and customer service, the head of customer service. So we are a small team, but we've had such an example. It has been a huge advantage to us being small because we're nimble.
okay.
So all the marketing is done in-house, which means that we can pivot day to day. That's why a small team sometimes is better than a large team. We also, each one of our team members knows how to do other teams members' tasks.
That's
You have
important.
to, that's really important, including my own, right? Because there's not a lot of C-suite people in the company. If anything happens, somebody can step in and do exactly what I do. So we're going to keep it really scrappy and, just be knowledgeable and be on the ground doing what needs to be done to grow this company.
And that you just shifted a little bit onto my next couple of questions that I have for
Mhm.
you. How do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Oh, there's no, there's no balance. I mean, there's not a morning I don't get up where, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm checking my Shopify, because since we're open 24/7, like, how are sales, blah, blah, blah. I mean, when you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like it's life and it's work. But I have to say, in this past year, I realized, like, I don't know what I was thinking at the beginning. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be like, oh, easy, blah, blah, blah. But it actually is a marathon.
Yeah.
So your mental health, your physical health is really important. I mean, I do yoga 5 days a week.
Okay.
That has really helped me a lot. I'm like, you can take that hour and a half and do something for yourself,
Yeah.
because if you're not good mentally and physically, it's your business is going to suffer. Also, wellness is important to my team members. So we have an open vacation policy. We also, last year, we will start up again, have been doing yoga once a week, within as a group. So again, just having healthy and happy employees is really important.
Oh, that's great. So the last question that I do have for you is in terms of your exit strategy. Like when you start a business, nobody ever thinks that they're going to leave a business. But I can say, you know, at some point in time, you're going to exit your business, whether it's going to be a voluntary,
Yep.
a forced exit, or a planned exit.
Planned. I've been planning my exit my whole, I mean, that's why I'm doing
So
it. I love,
talk to me about that. I know you have your girls on the
yes,
team. Like,
yeah.
what is your exit strategy?
So first of all, I'm an older founder, right? So I'm over 50. I'm not planning on like having this company for the next 20 years. Um, so this industry, so I hold a lot of IP. Okay. And as I said, we've created something that's really different.
Okay.
This is not the intimates industry is not an industry of innovation. So they do acquire smaller companies for that.
Mhm.
So an acquisition is really in the future. I mean, it's the writings on the walls. I've already had some people, you know, along the journey that have reached out. So I do see acquisition, but I wouldn't be interested until we get to the 16 to $20 million a year in sales, so that I know our valuation is, you know, stronger. Didn't, you know, work all these 9 years for a lower valuation. So acquisition is definitely something that is possible in, I would say, like a 3-year plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. That's been great. Is there anything that you would like to share with us that we've not spoken about during this spotlight interview?
Yeah, so I would like to say that, you know, we were built on Kickstarter, like being, you know, the first kind of entree into the world. Community, being backed by the community has been really part of our journey. It's so important. And going to WeFunder and having, you know, somebody be able to put $100 in to your campaign and be an owner, again, has been like the thread. And I love that feeling of democratizing, you know, the whole playing field of equity. So I would like to say, if anybody, we have like a month and a half left on our WeFunder, please go to our campaign and check it out. You could be, if you're interested, you could be an owner in Nuudii. I'm hoping actually this is our last raise, that we won't need any more money till we get acquired.
Wait, so where did they find it? Where did they get this information? Is it
So it's
what's
WeFunder is WeFunder, and then you can just look up Nuudii System, which is Nuudii System, and you'll see our campaign there. We've got all the information you need about the business, about projections. Our financials are there. Everything is there. We have nothing. It's all transparent on there. So it's closing at the end of July.
okay? Great. Definitely, we'll be checking that out after our interview. But thank you very much, Annette Azan, for joining this series of our
Thank you,
Business
Nana.
Spotlight interview, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Take care.